Welcome back to the television show. Today we're going to be talking about A Perfect Spy, a John le Carré adaptation. The story follows Magnus Pym, our perfect spy, from chaotic childhood through adolescence and youth towards a traitorous career in the intelligence services, and ultimately to the crisis of discovery that was clearly always coming. Yes, our hero is a traitor. We are encouraged to have some sympathy for him, having seen all he'd been through: an absent mother, con-man father, appalling relatives and brutal schools. We are also shown the senior service personnel are operating in a world that only works for the establishment. Public schoolboys born to the right sort, with a very blinkered view of the lower classes, alternate ideologies, and not least Johnny Foreigner. But while we are empathising with Magnus, we are not really encouraged to sympathise with the communist cause. They are depicted mainly through Pym's contact Axel. They are seen as blunt, crude and manipulative. As we only see them at the sharp end at an operational level, this may be an unfair impression, but as it's all we're given, we can't reach any other conclusions. The series was produced by Jonathan Powell, who had produced both Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy and Smiley's People. He started with Crown Court in 1968 and has a stack of credits behind him now, including A Christmas Carol with Michael Horndon, a star-studded version of Jekyll and Hyde in 1980, a remake of The Railway Children in 2000. In 1983, he became head of drama serials and, along with Michael Gray, tried to see the long-running and ever-popular Doctor Who cancelled. The attempt failed, but after succeeding Gray as BBC controller in 1987, within 2 years had his way. So, as much as I admire this series, I am not a fan of Jonathan Powell. Colin Rogers, also credited as a producer on this serial, seems to only have a couple of credits I'm aware of, both of them around the time of A Perfect Spy. It's Summer's Lease with Sir John Gielgud and All Passion Spent with Dame Wendy Hiller. Both look excellent, actually, and I'm putting them both on the wish list. It was adapted by Arthur Hopcroft, who had adapted Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, though the screenplay for Smiley's People was written by le Carré himself. Hopcroft had some success with TV plays and adaptations, notably Dickens' Hard Times and Bleak House, Du Maurier's Rebecca, and he wrote the play The Nearly Man, which became a series later, starring Tony Britton, set in the world of politics. He was also a successful sports journalist, writing for the Mirror, Guardian and Observer. Director Peter Smith was also already known for Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. Smith had made A Private Enterprise in 1974 and Bleasdale's No Surrender in 1985. Both seem worth a look. I've put them both on my wish list too. This research is costing me money. The cast is led by Peter Egan as Pym, who began in television with a role in Cold Comfort Farm in 1968 and is still working today, having appeared in True Love in January of this year. Along the way, he appeared in Chariots of Fire, A Woman of Substance, Ever Decreasing Circles and Downton Abbey. He is also a long-term animal lover and since 2016 a vegan, and has been actively and publicly campaigning since 2010. It's a very stoic performance. You can tell he's keeping a lot inside, but we know because of the context what's going on in his head, and he plays it very, very well. It's wonderful seeing the duplicity of the character portrayed impeccably. Ray McAnally plays Rick Pym, Magnus's father, a con man and the source of the chaos throughout Pym's childhood, adolescence and early adulthood. Full of bluster, confidence, panic and desperation, Rick leads Magnus through experiences that will shape him, giving him the experiences and life lessons that will eventually make him such a perfect spy, and also giving him a penchant for betrayal. McAnally plays all this with aplomb. He really is the standout support in its drama. The rest of a glorious cast is on top form. Alan Howard as Jack Brotherhood, Pym's friend, mentor and boss. Rudy Weigang is Axel Hampel, the contact through which all of the treachery is channeled. Dame Peggy Ashcroft is Miss Dubber, the prissy landlord of a Devonian seaside guest house, used as a safe house and known only to Pym himself. Ian Cuthbertson as Rick's father-in-law, who terrorises young Magnus. You have Tim Healy is Rick's loyal accomplice. Ian McNeice as an old school friend. of Magnus, and Leslie Nightingale as Sabina, a Mata Hari-like Czech agent. They all work very well, despite somewhat infrequent scenes. Over the 7 episodes, as Magnus's life turns one way, then the other, and back again, fast forwards and flashes back, it does spread the cast's appearances out somewhat. And this is not the glamorous world of international espionage we get from Ian Fleming. Le Carré's characters are always intended to be an antidote to James Bond, offering a much more realistic and therefore a much more cynical view of the intelligence services. The series is set in shadowy rooms. There are many night shoots and dusty Victorian office buildings aching for modernisation. It all makes it claustrophobic, tense, and everything is palpably dangerous. There is, in fact, practically no action. It's all dialogue and atmosphere. This is not how they make things now, but anyone conversant with this era of TV will not find this off-putting. We watch these shows for the dialogue and the atmosphere, to watch these great stars ply their trade, rather than chase cars and conduct running gun battles. We'll leave that to the A-team. Le Carré has said this is his most autobiographical novel, though I hasten to add there was no suspicion of treachery in his own intelligence career, such as it was. But he too had a conman father, an absent mother, and has said he was asked to collect a list of names from a totally innocent university communist group leader, as Pym does in the book. How the rest of the intelligence work relates, obviously we can only guess at. As I say, there isn't really that much actual spying, but it does all feel authentic to me. On the autobiographical nature of the book, Le Carré has said, although I've never been to a shrink, writing A Perfect Spy is probably what a very wise shrink would have advised me to do anyway. Personally, I love this sort of drama. It's all atmospherically shot, brilliantly performed, and despite the lack of action, totally intriguing and utterly absorbing. The DVD is reasonably cheap and freely available. I'd love to hear what you think of it, how you think it stands up to Tinker Tailor or Smiley's People, maybe. Did you see this on first broadcast? Incidentally, this was on BBC Two following MASH. And opposite Mafia Wars on BBC One, ITV was showing The London Embassy, a mini-series I know nothing about. It does seem a bit in the world of diplomacy, possibly with an element of spying, but I was watching Peter Egan. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, you can subscribe for more similar reviews. Maybe share the video with like-minded friends. That really does help the channel grow, and I'm only just starting this one. Basically, I need all the help I can get. Feel free to check out my other channel called Postcards from a Wet Rock on European and UK comics, if that sounds like your type of thing. But until next time, bye!